And for more analysis of the trial, we bring in defense attorney Robert Dicello with the law firm Dicello, Levitt and Gutzler. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with that emotional testimony from George Floyd's brother, Philonise. Here's a bit of it.
Going back to growing up in the CUNY homes, can you please tell the jury what role George Floyd had as the older brother in that household?
He was so much of a leader to us in the household. He will always make sure that we had our clothes for school. He made sure that we all were going to be to school on time. And like I told you, George couldn't cook, but he'll make sure you have a snack or something to get in the morning.
What kind of impact do you think that this testimony has on a jury? And on the flip side, do you think at any point we'll hear any testimony that could potentially humanize Derek Chauvin?
The impact that this testimony is going to have is just simply to humanize and give life to the man that was George Floyd. Of course, in 1985, Minnesota started this spark of life witness testimony trend, as it were, within Minnesota law. So the actual use of the testimony is to humanize and to give a perspective about this man that goes beyond the struggles by the police car or the knee in the neck. It's really about trying to give him a voice, frankly, for who he was as a human being, to give him dignity and to focus on who he was. As it relates to whether we're going to hear from Chauvin or about Chauvin, I doubt it. Chauvin has a right to remain silent under the Fifth Amendment. I suppose he's going to. And I doubt that anyone's going to come forward and just talk about him in the general sense as to what kind of man he was. That's really not going to be on the table. There could be someone testifying about the kinds of procedures he used and how he was using them, and to that extent we might hear about him, but I don't think we're going to hear the same kind of testimony.
And today we also heard from a cardiologist called by the state, Dr. Jonathan Rich. Here's what he concludes.
George Floyd died from a cardiopulmonary arrest. It was caused by low oxygen levels, and those low oxygen levels were induced by the prone restraint and positional asphyxiation that he was subjected to. I can state with a high degree of medical certainty that George Floyd did not die from a primary cardiac event, and he did not die from a drug overdose.
And he's one of several medical experts to say that Floyd died, in fact, from low oxygen and not from his heart condition or a drug overdose. Do you think that cause of death is still an open question here, and could the defense still win the point on this?
It's still an open question to the extent that the defense has a say in this. To this point, though, we've heard only what the prosecution has put forward. Now, this particular witness or this particular doctor, we all need to remember, is really the heart doctor of the case for the prosecution. His job is to tell us whether the heart itself was the reason for the death, whether the heart failed under many different circumstances. And to have him with us to guide us through the testimony today was extremely helpful. We'll see if the defense has a response.
And today, Judge Cahill refused to sequester the jury at this time, even as the city saw unrest over the police killing of Daunte Wright. What was the defense concerned about, and do you think that the judge made the right call here?
Well, the defense is having a lot of concerns right now. I'm going to try to pull back for a second. There has been very, very, very little in the way of revealing cross-examinations, bombshell testimony moments, kind of gasping, community discussion about what's been said at trial. We've been seeing essentially the prosecution's case. The defense has not been able to push through it, and to the extent that the judge has ruled today, I think it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. I think the defense is worried very much so that they're going to not get their side of the case to the jury in a way that's very persuasive.
Robert Dicello, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.